thing.
Oh,
We
okay.
failed.
Do it again.
Happy
Oh,
holidays.
Hi,
Happy holidays.
everybody. I'm gonna let you two chat it up for a while and just disappear.
okay.
Oh my goodness. We're talking today in just off the cuff kinds of things. We're just going to have a conversation. We're going to talk about our year in review, what's coming up in the next year. So we'll welcome you. Thank you for being here. Anthony, what could you add? What do you want to add? Tell me.
Yeah, we're talking about how coaches can also sort of look back on the year and sort of take in what they've done, what they've accomplished, how they can celebrate, how they can improve, and how they can go into the new year fresh with a new mindset, possibly. And also, New Year's resolutions suck.
It also kind of reminds me a little bit of, return on investment concepts in the sense of when you're working with your clients, it's always a really good thing to have them recognize where they've come from to where they are in that moment. So that review is always a wonderful thing, allowing that client to have ownership and then celebration.
Because it feels like when you've been in it for, let's say, like a year or so, you've been
When you've been in it for a year at the year in review, it's been a year. It's just I thought that you were
well, you've done. You've been. I thought you were going to be quiet.
Oh, I see how it is.
That's the wrong year in review.
Okay, I'm being quiet now.
Coach Lisa, thank you for your instruction.
Oh, that's so nice. Okay.
What was I saying? Yeah, when you've been working in a goal for a whole year, long-term goal, it'll feel like you haven't made a lot of change sometimes. It's just, you're in that zone and you're making these small incremental changes, and it might not feel like you've made much progress until you stop and actually think about it, and take the year in review, and then you'll see how much progress you've actually made.
By the way, the progress I did not make, since Jerome was not with us, I forgot to change the title to this. So it says Merry Coaching, which is awesome. And that's not actually the title of anything that we're doing at the moment. So we can always start over.
But it is in the holiday spirit, right? It's in the holiday spirit.
Oh, so no, it's totally fine. And that's
just round two.
Jerome is ill today, so he's not here, which is why we're missing one Mr. Jerome.
Send him some love. Send him some love.
Yeah.
Healing thoughts. So, year in review. What, in your estimation, is your year in review, each of you?
Well, I'm, of course, somebody who has to have a process. So I'm like, well, how do you want me to evaluate my year in review? What would you like that to be like?
Well, what's way that feels appropriate to you?
Well, I don't. Okay, this is not something I like doing, which is funny. So we can talk about that if you want. And I've got
a review.
It's completely arbitrary. Like when the December's the end of the year, January's the new year, and you have to have this sort of transition period between the two, where
and it's not, because I think that a lot of times what will happen is people can get kind of down on themselves and get, it can be as destructive as it can be constructive. And it is kind of an arbitrary, like he's saying, estimation of time. Yes, a year has gone by since last year, but every day a year has gone by since last year.
That's true. When I think about us in the last year, there's a lot that's changed. We have, transitioned and love being in online classes. Our classes are going swimmingly well. They still feel like they're in person. They still feel like there's connection and there is oh, that's what you were talking about. I'm sorry. Squirrel.
What?
Amy, love Coach Lisa. Thank you.
Okay.
Squirrel. The year in review we've gone through, where I haven't taught in a while, and then I got back into teaching, and Just love the experience of it. I um, am looking forward to our level 2 that's coming up in the coming days, and got settled here personally out in Colorado. Got really owning in our space. Kids are happy in school, the grandkids, family's good. So it's been a really, really good year, honestly, minus any illnesses we've all had.
Mm.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a year. I mean, it was what it was June. Well, it was not. It was honestly, it was April of last year that we not last year, but the year before that we went virtual, which is
Mhm.
that's crazy that it's been that long that we've been doing this now for a year and a half
Yeah,
virtually, which is
yeah.
interesting. Um, but a lot has changed and a lot continues to change, and that's a good thing, I think. I do think it is important to reflect on accomplishments, on of course, my brain goes to like, okay, we can analyze what was successful, what wasn't, and we can, because that's what I do. I'm analytical. However, I think that if what I want to ask, apart from our own personal reviews, is this a practice we would have with a client? Is this something
Yeah,
that we would talk about? So the year is
yeah.
coming up. Do you want to? I mean, is it something they bring to the table? Is it something we bring to the table?
We're usually the ones that will remind them, in that time in review. You usually wind up doing it in a 3 month. Um, so if you're meeting with your client every week, a 3 month is a good time to take a look back what the progress has been, what they've gone through, what are the steps they've gotten accomplished, what's still yet to be done, what's um, on the next horizon. So it's that review of and finding the celebration of their experience through that coaching. I call it return on investment because that's what it is as well. It's their proof that they've done the work.
So what happens if I go, well, yeah, I didn't accomplish anything I wanted to this year. Like I didn't.
Remember when we talked? Is that something? Right. So I'm going to pull out the memory bag of what pieces I've been privy to, what pieces you've shared, what pieces that growth mindset has occurred. So that's where I will help you go there. Usually, when you do that, once you get going, the idea they get involved with it, and then they really start thinking in that highway of, well, yeah, I did accomplish that. What else did you work through and accomplish? What was different about then and then now?
See, I'm really dreading next year, so I'm trying to avoid this new year coming up. I'm already dreading 2022, only because I'm turning 40. So
Oh my goodness. Well, now I understand. I've been there, done that.
and
I
so
think this is a perfect time for me to dip out of this life.
why? So
That sounds
it's
like women problems I don't care about.
Women problems.
women problems. So that's just it's funny. That's what it's like. I just thought, I'd rather this year didn't end.
You know,
That's what I need coaching on. Coaching. I need to get coached to make it through my 40th birthday.
you better make it. I'm gonna
Make
slap
it,
it. You better make it.
drive through your 40s.
Yes.
And 40s is that an appropriate thing to say as a coach? 40s is the new 30s.
It's not. It's that there's no great rhyming like mnemonic. Like, you've got dirty 30s. You've got what is the 40s for? There's no good rhyming.
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I have to come up with something.
You're still a baby. I got you still. I will always be ahead of you many, many, many years. So it's all good.
I am on the inside. I'm 12 years old. So
Yeah.
There's this thing, and we kind of got off the Christmas thing, but this thing when I was younger, I'm like, I'm never getting older than 18. Okay, I'm never getting older than 25. Okay, well, never getting older. Like, okay,
Yeah.
get over yourself because you're old.
I mean, I'm never gonna get older than 27. I'm just gonna lie to people.
I always said I would lie. If I was going to lie, I'm going to lie older. So I'm going to
Yeah.
say, I'm 55.
All
You
right,
look
this is
Yeah,
good
fantastic.
coaching.
Well,
Good
thank
coaching going
you.
on here. Good coaching.
now, what does lying do for you?
You know what? Total divergent here, or divergence. There we
Version.
go.
Yeah.
Is we started a program within our company called the Student Staff Coaching Program, and this week I think a bunch of us started coaching with our students, which is pretty exciting. And I will say it today. I learned the tremendous value of the scaling tool, which is awesome. So that is a year in review. It's something that we've had since
If-
I've been here. That
would
we've
you like to describe what the scaling tool is for our listeners?
no, you guys got
Okay,
to take the
cool.
class to figure it out. No, I'm just kidding.
We've told them before.
No, but I never appreciated until today, and I've used it
Yeah.
before, but I never appreciated the I guess just how effective it can be and how powerful it can be, and how helpful it can be for me, the coach. Because that was so helpful today. It was really helpful engaging, I guess. So scaling tool on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to X, Y, or Z, to the plan, to whatever it may be. And what I never realized, I thought, okay, scale of 1 to 10, but wherever they land, that they land. But the way that I used it today was to explore if you're in an 8, how do we get you to a 10? And doing that just repeatedly, we just solidified that plan. It was rock solid by the time we were done, and it was awesome. And there was a lot of excitement and motivation, and that was I just the return to it and the use of it. And there was a time too that was used where I didn't do a 1 to 10. I did, like, if it was an example of me turning forward 40. So on a scale, being if 10 is being comfortable with turning 40 and 1 is wanting to run screaming from the room, are you comfortable or are you wanting to run screaming? And that even, using it where it's not necessarily the two ends of the spectrum, I used it comparatively is what happened. So I did, if you want to go this way or this way, where are you landing? If 10 is right and 1 is left, where are you on that spectrum? And it was great for sort of gauging where to move through the session and what to talk about. And I really had never given the scaling tool, because it was so simple, the credit it was due. So
Honestly, those simple tools are a golden ticket. They are giving that permission to that client to really calibrate what it is and who they are, what they want, where they are in the moment, what it's going to take. I've used it many, many times.
I just kept using it, and I was shameless about, I didn't need to come up with new questions, and I just kept asking the same. And the other tool that was really powerful, and just to share in today's session, since it was just a really awesome session today, was mirroring to the nth degree, and it was mirroring with words like maybe, like just non-commitments. I'm going, anything that was a sign of that, this is about lack of commitment or anything, usually things like that, I just mirroring that back. Can I ask you about usually? Can I ask you about maybe? Can I ask you about going to? And that it was a really powerful way to sort of like bring out the I want to make a commitment to this thing, which was awesome. So that I appreciate tools. Simple tools go a long way. Don't need to overcomplicate things. Yeah.
When we're in our level 1, on especially day 2, going through the coaching modalities that we practice, you can see the different people in the class grasping those tools, playing with them, and being just like you, excited about ability to really coach someone and keeping it simple, and the power and the impact, just as you described, kind of
Well,
a
I think
wonderful thing.
I think too in the class there's a lot of information we're getting. So you don't get to play with the tools in that way for, a full hour long session for
Right. Mhm.
where you can just sort of go in it and practice these things and I while like I said, while I've used it and while I've heard other people and I've seen other people excited, I use this tool. And seeing that, I never, I guess, appreciated just how far it can take you and how far it can take you into digging deeper. It really a simple way to dig deeper, to get behind that, to get behind the things the things they're not saying. And that's just asking about that if it's 1 to 10 and we're at 8, let's talk about the two there that is missing. And it was very cool. So yeah, simple tools. I tend to overcomplicate things.
Okay. So thinking back, the other new thing, so we've got different tools that we have in class. The other new thing that we've introduced this year were the badges. How do
Badges.
you think those are going, guys?
People love them, except for when
Yeah.
you spell the word certified. I'm one to just throw out all my flaws and failings.
I mean, I guess I should have caught that too, but
How many eyes? We've had so many eyes on it.
Well, that's the thing that's the inattentional blink, right? You
Mhm.
can read the same thing 100 times and never see the typo because you've read it 100 times. But the moment somebody lays eyes on it for the first time, they catch
like, certified.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're certified. So this is a great thing. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has these sort of things happen, and it doesn't stop us, and it doesn't, we correct and know that it's part of being human.
Yeah.
But I think the badges are a huge success. What do you guys think? What are those?
I love them. I didn't know I loved them, but I love them. When ICF first did the digital badging, I thought, what's this? I don't need this. But I've grown to really think they're an amazing piece of showing and sharing about who we are and the work that we've done as a coach.
That was
So
Anthony's hard
It
work there.
essentially serves as a transcript and like a course description. And goodbye, Brooke, wherever she went. It serves as a transcript, a course description, and sort of like a marketing tool as well, because they're shared from students. Marketing tool for us, Certified Life Coach Institute, and for the students, because the students can use them, showing people, possible employers or clients, what they've done. And we get the benefit as when people look at the badges, they look at our company, and that encourages people to become certified life coaches. So it's valuable to the students, it's valuable to us. And when those two work together, seems like it's a success.
Well, I appreciate the movement also towards, which is, I used to be so not this person. So a few years ago in my year in review, I would never have been this human being. But the movement towards that digital realm and embracing, because it makes honestly the job easier. Being able to do things that way, and it makes tracking it easier. It makes finding that connection and maintaining it, and not only that, but also verifying and it's just they're having it in the space that can be followed, that's not paperwork, is fantastic, honestly.
absolutely.
And that's really, but it's something that I think the Brooke of the artist who paints and who was so opposed in so many ways to technology that but now here I am, I'm like I'm doing digital art now. So and I love it. It's awesome. There's so many, because there's great things to it that are unexpected. So yeah.
How about you, Anthony?
What about me?
What great things do you feel like you've done over this last year? Writings? You've done really well with writing for us. Are you doing anything
put me
personal?
in the habit of writing more often. I think a personal one that's like maybe not work related was moving out of my, parents' place and getting my own place and being financially independent for a whole year. Which is exciting when it's your first year living by yourself, no roommates, no nothing, just me and my cat. She's around here somewhere. She just bills. So yeah, that's I it confirmed what I already thought, which that I like living by myself and I like being alone and independent in that way. So that's always good. When you confirm your previously held biases,
Well, there might be a little confirmation bias there too, just so you know.
that's true. It went well, and I thought it would go well, so it's good. What else have I accomplished this year? Hmm.
You've accomplished the
You've
ability to
come
turn your
accomplished
forehead
a
green.
lot with us. That's
That is true.
Yeah.
we've all
You have grown. I mean, we hired you in. It was, it would have been about a year and a half ago ish,
Yeah,
around
like
there,
that.
and maybe a little less. And you were coming in to write, and then now you are project manager, and you are. I mean, you've grown tremendously.
Doing all sorts of administrative project partnership things, group sales, this and that.
Yeah, it's anything that goes wrong is Anthony's fault. I've stepped out of that role.
Anthony.
I passed the role along to Anthony.
I'm
And,
also in charge of the badges and certificates. So if you guys get like like your name's misspelled or something, or you get the wrong certificate, that's me too.
it's not really your fault, though, right? I mean, but we don't have to get into the technical aspect.
Well, it's whatever.
It's all my fault at the end of the day. Just always know it's my fault. I'm happy to have it be my fault.
Yeah, sure.
We're all human. We're all human.
But yeah, I mean, I only worked like a little tiny bit here and there at the very
That's
beginning
it?
of
The
the
whole
year.
year? You only worked a little bit?
And then it increased more and more, and now I'm working full time for Certified Life Coach Institute, and that's big because I hate working full time. Every full time job I've ever had that was like legit full time, they were sucky jobs. It was like security or working at Amazon or who knows what else. They're just jobs that sucked. Now I'm working a job that doesn't suck, and also I think working from home helps a bit as well.
He has to say that, though. He can't tell us that his job's bad.
I can't say on live television that this job sucks.
On television. We're on television now.
Someone might be watching on their TV.
Yeah,
I guess that's true. Technology.
So that's an improvement, is landing a career job profession that pays the bills 40 hours a week and does not make me want to smash my head against a wall. So
we'll work next year. We're going to work on changing that.
You want to smash your head into a wall. That's
and a good one too. Here's another one.
Always
working a job that has normal hours. I used to be a night shift guy, which just wrecked my sleeping schedule and wrecks, your personal life when you work from midnight to 8 a.m, or however.
It wrecked my personal life, though. Because my personal life was part of my job, so like
it's just more my personal life, as in like I was just tired all the time and just angry and just like always in a bad mood because I never got enough sleep.
Yeah, that's miserable. Yeah,
I don't get enough sleep now, but
that hasn't changed for me.
So those are some personal things that I've achieved
within so within the realm of achievement and what you're doing. Where do you? Well, let's actually this. What have you learned this year?
Oh my gosh. You've learned several systems. That much I can answer for you.
And I'm trying to think of the non-technical.
Yeah, you're doing research. You're doing
What does everybody learn?
Oh my gosh.
My dad would say, you stop learning, you start dying. And so whenever I talk to him, he's always like, what have you learned today? What have you learned? Got to come up with something.
I would say the importance of keeping an open mind and withholding judgment, and just sort of if an opportunity arises, or maybe I don't see it as an opportunity from the get-go, but just trying to see it as an opportunity rather than just being like, no, I don't like this, so it sucks. Um, which is usually what I tend to do is if I just don't like something, I just don't care about it. Now I'm like, okay, let's keep an open mind. Let's see what this could do for me or other people and if it's beneficial, and just not be so aggressively stubborn, I guess. I don't know.
I'm hearing that you're creating the opportunity for options to happen.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Mhm.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
that's
Thank you.
huge. I would even say.
Yeah, what have you guys learned?
Mm.
Oh, freaking pour my heart out, and you guys got nothing.
Yeah,
I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that it's like, okay, what do I focus in on?
I've learned and I've grown. To get specific with it, I think I would have to get really personal. But I've on a personal level, I think I have grown, I have matured, I have changed, I have evolved. I feel from the perspective of PTSD and emotion and emotional intelligence, and I feel I'm in a more solid place than I've been in years. um, so that there's a tremendous level of, I guess, sort of peace that is within me that I was lacking prior to, and acceptance, and sort of the ability to realize even in the moment that it's not the end of the world, that it's okay, that it's not there's always a way through, right? And I think that there's a knowing that I have now of that I was distinctly lacking prior to the start of this year. So that for me is actually, it's a priceless kind of growth, honestly, and something I'm very appreciative for. And it's a much more sort of internal and philosophical kind of growth, I guess you could say, but it's one that I value very highly. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Lisa?
Well, I kind of shared that towards the beginning in the sense of, one of the things I hadn't done for a little while was teach. And I learned that I still have a love affair with it. I learned that the journey of going through the classes with everyone, getting emotional, sorry, is really exciting to see and watch the changes that occur so quickly, even in 3 days, that that I can help facilitate that. I think, as I'm trying not to be so emotional, I'm pretty proud of my ability to interact with everyone and hold that space, and that I still got it.
Aw. And then Michelle,
Yeah, Michelle Yang, recent level 1 grad. We loved having you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So the idea of the company is growing, and we're making changes. Of course, it's never fast enough, but the continued growth of us has been amazing as well. The continued growth of who we are in the industry has steadily increased. Um, and the awareness of who we are, that we are really a wonderful company, one to work with each other, as well as for people to go through and learn from us. All of our teachers are outstanding.
That's our family's grown quite a bit. I mean, if we look back to prior to pandemic, the COVID we don't speak of, Lisa and I started this. We started to work together. It was mostly just the two of us, and then we added Jerome in, and then we've just sort of added people in, and now we've got 11 people here, which is crazy in comparison to what we once were. And it's I sit back sometimes and I wonder how we ever survived
I'm no longer the new
Well,
guy, which is crazy to me because I still feel like I'm the new guy, but that's not the case.
yeah, no,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
there's several newer than you now. So
You're the old guy
There
now.
might be more. Who knows?
We call you Old Anthony now.
yeah,
I
old
feel
Anthony. Yeah, you aren't the youngest.
yeah, I'm turning 40 next year too, so
You're just gonna skip to 13 years of life.
no, I lied this whole time. I'm turning 40. I just have really good skin.
um, I will say that's exciting with the growth and everything is uh, we I anticipate us continuing to change and grow and evolve as a school, and
Oh,
also life coaching as a whole
I don't
too.
know if we need to anticipate it. I mean, it's going to happen.
Well,
Yeah,
and that's one of the things that's happening
yeah.
this next year is ICF has rolled out some accreditation changes that I think are going to be very powerful and effective and have good implications. Definitely some work, but beyond that, though, I think it's a very good thing, and it does mark a sort of or it is, I guess you could say, a milestone
Mhm.
that will mark change within the coaching industry, I would say, for sure.
Mhm.
And that is they're making some big changes to the accreditation process, and
Mhm.
whereas they used to accredit hours and give hours, now they're accrediting institutions as a whole,
Yeah.
which is it's very
It
interesting.
also
Yeah.
makes it way more straightforward for students who want to get their ACCs and PCCs and MCCs with ICF. Like before, it seems like whatever school you went to had sort of different things going on, and then you had to go after them to the ICF, and hopefully you had the right requirements and doing all these sorts of things. Now, CLCI in the future is going to have a direct pathway for students to go through that, and there will be less, I guess, go between ICF and us. We'll be doing more. I don't know how much can we
I think
tease.
what's exciting is like prior to this, there wasn't really an ACC path. Like you had ACSTH or ACTP, and with ACSTH, it wasn't a direct line to an
Oh,
ACC.
that's true. Yeah.
Whereas ACTP was a direct line to PCC. That was always how it was structured. Now, the way they've structured it is the level 1 is a direct line to ACC. The level 2 is a direct line to PCC. The level 3 is a direct line to MCC, and it's much clearer sort of
Yeah.
path. And it's that I think is fantastic. And it like you said will make it clearer for those folks going that way. Does it mean that it's the only way? No, again, no, because again, this is ICF's regulation, not the government's regulation too. So
Yeah. But the cool thing is that it's going to be they're not if you look at the back end of it all, there's not a whole lot of changes there. But when you're looking at the front and you're a student, it's going to be so much easier for the student to navigate. Like you're saying, that navigation is going to be ultimately the easier path than the way they had it set up before.
mhm.
Am I allowed
Design.
to tease what we can possibly do in the future as CLCI that they would have gone to ICF for, or maybe just outside
No,
of
it's already out there. I mean, it's on the.
um,
It's so yeah. I mean, that's
mentor coaching? For one, it's going to be wrapped into um, the whole
if
level
you're
1, level 2, level 3 thing.
going to the down that
Yeah,
ACP path.
if you want to go on that path.
The reason I keep clarifying that is because there still will be the option of doing the certification at 30 hours. That's not going to go away. It's that if you're somebody that wants to go the full way to the ACC and that is the ultimate goal for you, it will be everything will be capable of doing everything up to the point of CKA essentially.
The,
So
the review
Which is
as
the
well,
test, the
video
yeah.
exam.
recording.
Yeah, we
Uh,
will be the one to review the recordings, which is very exciting. And that's a lot of trust, and it's very cool. Of course, we have to get there, but
yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
excited to
and
see
this is
that
a
happen.
whole year-long transition process. We're not going to be like
Poof.
some January 1st. Hey, we're doing this now.
Yeah.
We're gonna
And
slowly get people used to the idea, and then by the end of next year, we'll have some more stuff to look back on and review.
there's a it's interesting that there's 1,200, they said, accredited schools they have through them, which is, I mean, that's a lot of schools out there. And I'm somebody who was out there for a while looking for more education to get my PCC. I was like, I need 60 more hours. And I found, no offense to any other schools out there, nowhere I wanted to go pretty much, because I'm so spoiled by us and what we do. And but I understand the plight of the person who is looking for training and looking for training under the guy, like the needs of somebody who is working and has all these things going on and wants to just get in, get out, get it done, and get the training that they need and not have to draw it out. And I've searched, and it's confusing, and there's a lot of things, and it's all came up me feeling like a little disappointed and a little and I just sort of gave up, and I was like, I'm just gonna wait till we create our program and I'll just get PCC through us, because it was so, I mean, really it is confusing for a person out there to look at the amount of option that is given. And I love that because of the way we do it, we stand out, and we what we do, it's a marriage of quality, but it's quality mixed with it's, I want to say, practicality almost, for the person that wants to get it in, wants to get it done, wants to start coaching and get the ball rolling. There's really nothing else like what we do, because the quality doesn't suffer in what we do, at least from what I can tell. So I like Sue asked level 3. But she's talking about the MCC. So yeah, the level 3 for ICF is the MCC pathway, which is new. That's brand new. They didn't have that before. So the level,
I don't think they have any designated classes yet for it. That's a path that they're creating.
They're building out. Yeah.
So they don't have one yet. And
then as an institute, what at some point we'll be able to, if we wish to, offer the level 1 ACC path, the level 2 PCC path, the level 3 MCC path, and CCEs. If we wanted, we could offer it all.
The level 4 kind of
well
thing.
That doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, they at the present time have said that they're not going to be going any more levels.
Oh, okay. So CE,
it would be scary to go MCC. I mean, what would you? That's a lot already. The MCC is intimidating.
Oh my
god! I thought the CCEs were the level 4.
Well, those are separate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay. CCE is going to be used for when you're up for your renewal. You have a CCE class or classes that equate to 30 hours. Plus, then you also have to have 10 hours of mentoring. So any of the CCE classes for counting are going to be allowed to be counted for renewals, but not your credentialing, which right now it's allowed.
Which so I'm grateful for. Kind of cool. I'm going to say that, because it's always been confusing to me, because we've gone through the process of becoming ACSTA.
Stepped through a lot of hoops.
Yeah, we've jumped through, and then the CCEs is a far easier process. So to me, it always felt confusing and kind of unfair that it was the same reward for the. So I'm happy. I was very happy to see that change. And I think it's a good thing. And I think all of the choices they have made are steps towards life coaching as a whole being taken more seriously, which I'm not saying it's already going that way, but this is just more, it's evidence that it is a serious profession that is trying to take itself seriously, and therefore raising the bar when it comes to accreditation and expectation with regards to education. So that's exciting stuff, and that's coming down whether we like it or not next year. So looking forward, which actually I'm excited, because it does light that fire, right? To go ahead and just let's do this. Let's start making some change and growing and getting excited. Because we've been kicking around this growth for a while, and time to get them. Now we got no choice. Let's do it. So, I guess that's what I need.
So that's another thing, I guess, you can ask your client to look back on as well, is were there things in the past year that just sort of happened that gave you a push to change. Like if we looked on 2 years ago, COVID would have been that answer. Just like, what did you have to do in response to COVID to change, and where did you grow from that? What did you learn from that? This year, it was those ICF changes where it's going to be continuous. And everybody has those in their life, I think, where it's like a thing will happen, an event will occur
Mm-hmm.
that you have to deal with somehow. And what
Well,
did
that's
you go
it.
go from there?
It separates it's a bubble popper is what it is, kind of. So, if you've got a growing industry or what have you, it's growing. Eventually something happens within it to shake it out, and the bubble pops, and the folks who are capable of adapting, the folks that have a product that is tested, tried and true, viable, and also adaptable, tend to be the ones that stick around through that, and the others will fizzle out. And what it does is it sort of filters out the minutia. It filters out the lesser quality product, which is good for the consumer. So it keeps you going in this sort of evolutionary path where we're improving, and we're on a path of improvement. And in order to stay in that realm, you have to be capable of adapting.
Yeah.
My question there, of course, my business, strategic philosophical brain goes, how do you create that? And that's where disruption comes in. Create that change so that it happens and you can thrive through and sort of stomp out the competition, which is a whole other thing. But it's just
all the love to our other programs and ICF
I don't
accredited
want to stomp anybody
institutions,
out. Sorry.
but we're gonna stomp you. We're gonna crush you beneath our feet.
That's funny. So going down that path, I mean, when we look at the year in review, marketing's changed. Even for us, marketing has gone through some of that transition and change. So I encourage you all to be looking at your marketing. What needs to be adapted? What needs to be changed? What have you been sitting on your hands about that you really need to get moving on?
I mean, just anything in that regard. But that's the thing too, though. Maybe that's not the question, because maybe it is that we know that what we've been sitting on our hands on, right? Maybe the question is what do you need? What needs to happen for you to stop sitting on your hands?
Yeah.
And how do you? Yeah.
And then that heart kind of goes.
Yeah. What
needs to allow you to do that and still plow through what you know you need to do?
What will light that fire? What will get your butt going? Because that's really I think that for me, that's a 95% of the battle is it's not knowing that what I have to do or what I can or cannot do. It's that I don't have the motivation in this moment to do it. So how do you motivate the unmotivated? Which can
smack them.
Exactly. It's good to the butt. And that's where these things are. That's why that's the big earth shakers are often the swift kicks to the butt, right?
I call it the boot. You guys have heard me say the boot. I don't know if you've heard me say the boot. How big a boot do you need? Right? That's
size.
Smaller boot. As long as you get going. But a lot of the times we wind up, because we are procrastinators, that big boot is what it requires sometimes.
It's interesting there, because I definitely consider myself to be a goal and reward motivated human being. Like, I tend to be a towards person. If I see where I'm going, I see the value in it, I'm going to move there. I'm going to move there quickly, and I'm going to get there as fast as I can. But I find I need that push, I guess, sort of when I get to a place of where I'm feeling kind of like I don't see the path, right? I don't have that clarity to see the next step, to see where it's going, or I don't see the understand the value in it at that point. And sometimes that's, I guess for me, this is of course me personally, that's when I need something like the change, like the ICF, that to come through, because now it's like, okay, I see the value, I see the reason, I see the path, I see what we have to do. Let's get the ball It's sort of the difference between being stagnant and being, again, moving. And I'm just doing total self-analysis right now. So it's self, like, I'm like, Brooke's just going to analyze herself and the way her internal mind works.
That's important too. I mean, even though you're sharing that bit of what your thoughts are, our internal mindfulness of who we are and what we're moving towards needs to be addressed as well. So, in all of this, in the year of review, that continued mindfulness for us as coaches is an important piece of all of this. And recognize that space, give our celebration. That's what these holidays are, for that celebration of coming through the year in transition, whatever transitions we've gone through, to start a new year afresh, not creating goal
I'm
setting
so
on January 1st, but
poor Lisa is sitting with like two somewhat, I guess, kind of cynical people when it comes to like, I'm like, I don't care about the new year. Like, it's just a new year. But I mean, I understand the value. I understand the reason. I understand the symbolism. I understand. I mean, it is the end of the calendar year, but at the same time, I'm like, well, I really love Christmas, but the new year, it's like, whatever. Again, I feel my concern, I guess, that comes with that. The reason I am is the concern that comes up is okay, this year's ending, new fresh year, but what is really going to make it a new fresh year? And what steps are you taking to make it this new fresh year? Because I think there's a lot of hope put on that it's a new year, so it's going to be better. But it's hope placed without the work to ensure that it is a success. And maybe this comes from the way I was raised. My mom used to always be like, I cannot wait for this year to be over. It's a horrible year. And like somehow it turning midnight, everything was going to magically become all better. But without the work, you're going to have the same year. And so that's why I guess I get kind of like, I don't get it. And it's probably my own a raising that does that.
Well, hope is always a good thing, no matter what time of year. If you choose to put it into a different date, that works. Just do it. Just have that hope. Build that process. Build the progress. Do the work.
That's the thing. That's the key.
Get her done.
Your new year. Your new year is not in the hands of a calendar. It's in your hands. It's up to you.
Helpful in a way. It's like you are just shutting the book on whatever happened that last year. And then, I mean, traditions are important to people. So if it's a yearly tradition at January 31st, you shut that book and just say, I'm done with everything back then. We're going to start new, and we have a plan as well to get going. Then I'm all for it. Even if
I see the value in letting go. Like that makes sense to me. Like that, the value. That you swayed me a bit there. With the value of like letting go of the past, and just like going, okay, that happened. I'm putting it there. I'm not going to dwell on it anymore. Amen. Let's move forward. And I can get behind all day.
I used to have like paper date or like day calendars, like day planners. I since switched to Google. I kind of miss writing everything on my day planner, but it was a very good outline of my entire year. And then I would, at the end of the year, I would like read through and just be like, oh, I did this day and I did that, and kind of see where I was and what books I read and stuff like that. And then I was always
kept track of your books too? Wow.
What?
I said you kept track of your books too?
Wow. That was before I used Goodreads too. I mean, I'd have Goodreads, but I didn't use it that much. I'd write everything in my day planner. And then I was always excited to get my new day planners. I just liked getting them.
I would get them and then just lose them and destroy them.
I need a new one.
You shut it, and I stuffed it in a box or a chest or somewhere in my closet with the other day planners, and that's it. That's gone now. I get to start a new day planner and a whole new year and new plans. And
so my sketchbooks, I have sketchbooks, and I like to when I fill out now, I don't use them as much anymore because I do it all digital. But mind you, they used to be everywhere. Like they took up so much room. But it was always felt like I accomplished something when I filled a sketchbook. Like it always like felt like, yeah, I filled this. Like that's awesome. And so I understand that value that and why that would be, something that you felt a sense of accomplishment. I'm not a reflector. I need to reflect more. But I do, but it's only in bad negative spaces. So then I just try not to reflect.
So that's where the celebrate comes in, right? The celebrate.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, and that's what celebrating. I love to celebrate, but the thing with celebrating is you've got to celebrate. And half the time I just don't get that far. But
yeah. Well, I think celebrate in this last year has been really interesting with the ups and downs with the thing that we are not mentioning and how that's flowing and what it's not flowing. And that's been a challenge. I have gotten to know more neighbors.
That's exciting. I know you were like,
we had another neighbor that came over, thought my husband was burning our house down.
Good way to meet them. It's good. Just burn your house down. You'll meet your neighbor.
Yeah.
On the opposite side, the accomplishment for me, I have not spoken to any of my neighbors at all. No contact with them. I love that. I don't want anything. They seem like nice people and they seem reliable. We have each other's phone numbers, but I do not see them. I do not hear them. I do not interact with them in any way. I love it.
I learned that the hard way. You should know your neighbors. It's very important, actually.
I'm sure if I texted them or call them and they need them for something, I feel fine asking them, but I don't have to look at them or see them.
Yeah, you don't have to hang out with them. Yes, I understand that too.
That's great. I like that. But good for you, Lisa, for getting to know more neighbors.
Yeah. He came over and he saw my husband was roasting his coffee. There was this big plume of smoke coming out. Yeah, no, we're not burning the house down. Thank goodness. Thank you for checking.
So talking about we were talking next year, we've got the year is ending, we've got it moving into the next year with hope, and all of these good things. What do you want to learn next year?
I've gone through a couple classes this year that I'm not fond of. So I'd like to learn next year and be in a class of learning where they're organized like we are. I know that's rude to say. I shouldn't compare, but we really do a good job. And I really want others to be doing that job, especially if I'm learning from them. And when they don't, so that's what I want. I want to go to another class.
I took a class I took the class I did with Harvard Business online. It was and it was fantastic. I mean, it really was. It was wonderfully. It was a really good. It was a good. There was, mind you, the whole thing was asynchronous though. So it was never. You never had an in-person experience. The whole thing was asynchronous, which, mind you, though, you did have, I guess, synchronous moments with your cohort. So because you do projects with your cohort and things like that, and so, but it was a very beautifully put together course, and so I recommend that to if you take it, do it. It's kind of awesome. I want to take another one in January if I can. Well, the enrollment's in January, so but I have seen the mess that can happen, and I do appreciate us for sure. So, anything we want to accomplish next year?
Level 3 soon.
Yes,
or something along that line. We're not sure what we're calling it yet. Since
and that's we'll see. But that's the thing is I would say that's a big goal for me is for us to create additional curriculum and additional ways for people to learn under the CLCI umbrella, and that I'm excited to do, and I'm excited for that growth and that opportunity too. because I think that it can look like more than one thing and be more than one way. And I'm also, on a personal level, excited to make it through my 40th birthday.
Oh my God, you old woman, you.
I want it. Yeah, I've never been this way about birthdays. I've embraced birthdays my whole life. This is the first one I'm like, oh my God.
Wasn't it just the same thing we've been talking about with New Year's? Like, isn't it just completely arbitrary? And
No, because I was born on a specific day. And it means I am a specific amount of time closer to my death.
Oh my gosh. You are. Where's that violin? Let me go that violin.
Dark human being. I don't want anybody to feel bad for me. I just don't want it to happen.
Too bad for you.
Let me put on my coaching hat real fast. Get over it.
Thank you.
Did you guys ever watch that? It's called Stop It. It's on YouTube. I'm trying to think of the comedian. There's an older comedian right now. He was the psychologist or the psychiatrist. He was a psychiatrist. What is his name? I think if you just type in Stop It, it's hilarious. You'll enjoy it.
Did you tell people to stop it?
Yeah, I haven't looked it up.
I want to.
I have to look it up.
There is I have those moments many times where, the coach hat off, where I just would be like,
Bob Newhart. That's it.
Stop it.
I have a Stop It video. I'm like, oh, we also want to do that sometimes. Just stop it.
I know in theory we're supposed to be very open-minded and welcoming and non-judgmental people, but I do say that there are definitely parts of me that still very much are like, what are you thinking?
Right now.
But I had to write that down once.
You want to grab their lips and just
shh. I kept thinking that in a coaching session. What are you thinking? I had to write it down.
No,
I did.
Yeah, I haven't had that happen yet.
I had to let it go. I let it go. I had to let it go.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that day that I have that really challenging coaching where I'm like, how am I going to get through this? Like,
and it's like, how dare I do that? I mean, that's not my place. But at the same time, I was like, run for the hills.
Oh yeah, because it's a couple too. Oh man, yeah.
Oh my goodness,
yeah. Where you're like, you want to just grab her and go, run, or whoever.
For the hills.
Wow.
That didn't happen. I mean, very rarely did I ever do that. This one was screaming.
Oh man, that would be hard.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're out of time. Thank you for those who watched our just sort of
chit chat.
Cat chit chat. This is us.
Chit chat.
It's almost like behind the scenes in this case. But thank you guys so much for watching. And
thank you. Happy holidays. Have a wonderful season.
Happy New Year. And
Happy New Year.
Happy holidays. We'll see you guys in January.
Oh, I'm gonna sneeze.
God bless you. Gesundheit.
Yeah, so make sure you check out Certified Life Coach Institute. And thank you so much as well, Michelle. Is it Michelle? Is it Michelle or is it
Mikel?
It's Mikel. We will find out one day. And make sure you check out Certified Life Coach Institute. If you guys have any, I'm just going to beg. If you guys have any topics, anything that if you're a new coach, if you want to be a coach, if you are out there in the world looking for a school and you have questions or information, or if you've started coaching and you feel like I need help with this, please put it in the comments. Leave it in the comments. We would love to hear about it. We will do a live around it. We will not only respond to you, but we are welcome and are asking for your feedback, your questions, and what it is that you as coaches need help with.
Yeah. What do you want to know? What do you want to know?
Please tell us so that we can then better serve you. So, and that is all.
We'll see you sometime in mid-January. Have a beautiful season. Thank you so much for being with us on this journey, and Have a grand time. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you guys. All right.
Goodbye.